Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. Today I've got kind of a frustrating, poor experience that a viewer of mine had at an authorized dealer looking for a Rolex. So I'm going to read it and we're going to kind of dissect it here a little bit. Let's just jump into it. This one comes from my friend Jerry in Canada. He says, "Hey Bruce, thought you might get a laugh from a recent watch-related event. Weeks before the local lockdown of non-essential businesses, I decided to inquire about a Rolex Hulk at a large boutique that are authorized dealers for many popular brands." Jerry, yes, yes, yes. I hope you're able to get a Hulk. I recently purchased one about a month ago. I love everything about the watch, and it is a great pickup if you can find one at retail price. So yeah, I think that's awesome. I am not wealthy, but admit I tend to buy quite a few watches, being careful to not exceed personal self-imposed limits. I will not buy gray market or pre-owned, preferring to deal with familiar businesses. So I got to give you props for sticking to a budget, being responsible. And another thing that we have in common, I also prefer buying from authorized dealers when it comes to luxury purchases. I just think it's a great thing to do. So let's continue here. Of course, the Hulk was not available for sale, although the attractive, slightly smug sales manager admitted that she had more than a few desirable sports models in her cubby waiting for the right buyer, including a few white Dow ceramic Daytonas. So that does not surprise me, and at the same time, it kind of frustrates me, right? A sales manager should not be telling a client or a potential client here that they have all the good stuff in the back and they're waiting for the right buyer, but it's not you, right? That is just frustrating and dumb. So let me expound on that just a little bit. Most authorized dealers, and I would wager all authorized dealers, whether they admit it or not, have all the good stuff in the back, in the safe, not in the display cases, where a customer could walk in and say, "Hey, ooh, yeah, I want that Daytona, or I want that Sky Dweller." And then they go out and they list it and they make a few $1,000s. Rolex authorized dealers don't want that in the slightest. They want to keep control of their inventory and who gets what. And love it or hate it, if I were a sales manager at a Rolex authorized dealer, I would do the same thing, right? I would keep the good stuff in the back and give it to my more favored clients. You might think that's awful, but that's exactly what I would do. I've bought 3 watches from my Rolex authorized dealer in the past year and a half or so. I've spent $25,000 there, and that is a drop in the bucket compared to other clients that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or over $1 million easily in my market of Salt Lake City, Utah, on watches and jewelry. So those clients, you want to keep them happy. You want to keep them coming back to your store. And you don't want a Joe Schmo flipper off the street to come in and get that Hulk and then turn around and try and profit a few $1,000 from from opportunity, really. So love it or hate it, I'm not surprised that happens, but I am surprised that she flat out admitted it to a client here in the store. I think that's just dang poor customer service. Facetiously, she hinted that I will not live enough years to buy any really hard to acquire Rolex sport watches for retail from any Toronto authorized dealer, and escorted me over to a nice counter of Tudor watches. Oh man, you see right there, you want to build a purchase history with your authorized dealer, but the fact that she's telling you, hey, you're not even going to live long enough to buy one of these watches that you want from my store or any other store in the region, that irks me. That rubs me the wrong way. That's bad. Okay, back here, there were no Black Bay GMTs, no Black Bay 58s, but apparently the shop also had those in their cubby. Actually, I love Tudor, but already own 6 different references, including the 58, which I bought with a courtesy discount along with the PO1 from a rival boutique. She looked at my Breitling Transocean World Time and sort of rolled her eyes. I suppose she didn't really believe me, laugh out loud. So Jerry, what I would tell you here, first off, that's cool that you've got some great Tudor watches, but I would go to that authorized dealer that you bought those from, that you have a purchase history and a nice relationship with. Hopefully they're a Rolex authorized dealer, right? The fact that they're Tudor means they're probably Rolex as well. So I would try to buy from that AD and not this terrible AD that you're at right here in this email. My friend Mark calls it not cheating on your authorized dealer, right? Pick one and stick with it. Don't try to shop around. That's what I would suggest there. Bruce, I really long for the days when a genuine desire and ability to pay were the only factors for buying a watch, from a Timex to a rose gold Patek Philippe skeleton perpetual calendar work of mechanical art. As I left the store, my escort reminded me that Breitling's were terrible purchases. She is wrong. They may not hold their list price, but mostly excellent timepieces equal to any mid-tier brand, including Rolex. Now, Jerry, this is where I differ in opinion from you, from my experience. I've owned 5 different Breitlings. I love Breitling. I do plan on purchasing more Breitling in the future. But, contrasting my Rolexes with my Breitlings, I think Rolex has a noticeable step up in fit, finish, movement, quality, feel of the bezel, the action, the crown movement, the bracelets, the clasps. I love Breitling. I think they're awesome buys at the right price, but I think Rolex is definitely a step ahead. But, that's just my opinion. I've been reading about the new/old Breitling chronomat with their famous bullet bracelet from the 1980s, a fabulous reminder of my first Breitling, and will be my next purchase after the world rights itself a little in the weeks or months ahead. I ignored the message from the Rolex lady suggesting I visit when I'm prepared to buy some nice watches. Keep well and stay safe. Best, Jerry. So, Jerry, I'm with you there with a couple things. I wouldn't go back to that authorized dealer. That customer service manager, the lady that helped you there, she was awful, right? That was terrible. Nobody wants to experience smug facetiousness saying, hey, I know you want this watch. I have them in the back. They're waiting for the right buyer. It's not you, and you're not even going to live long enough to get one at retail from any place in the region. Your Breitling sucks. Here's some Tudors, and I don't believe you that you own 6 Tudors. That type of experience, that's just dang poor customer service. There's no excuse, no room for that here in the hobby, and I hope that doesn't happen very often. I would say there's probably far more authorized dealers where people have excellent experiences with, as opposed to these, terrible experiences that happen. And that's not new to retail. That will happen at a car dealership or a camera store, whatever it is. But sadly, it happens with luxury watches as well. So guys, in the comments section, I would love for you to shout out good experiences you've had at which authorized dealers and poor experiences you've had at various authorized dealers, so we can see as a consumer base, hey, what are the good places to go to? What are the places to avoid? And, I think that could be helpful for information for those of you shopping for an authorized dealer that you want to spend your thousands with, build a rapport with, build a purchase history with, and start attaining some of these really great watches when the market, is in the right place to do that. So I'd love to hear the good experiences, the bad experiences. I have a feeling the vocal ones will be the poor ones, but I have a feeling that the good experiences far outnumber the bad. I know every watch that I've bought at an authorized dealer has been a good experience, right? They're, whether it's Breitling, Omega, Rolex, Seiko, or Hamilton, I've got some good places to recommend. And so I hope to hear some more here in the comments section. Now, lastly, as we close, Jerry, I said I agree with you in a couple ways. Your next purchase, the new chronomat, or I guess the retro chronomat that's going to be produced here by Breitling later this year in 2020, looks gorgeous. I'm partial to the copper dial, the salmon dial. I think that thing just looks so dang good, very attractive on that bullet bracelet, and I'm excited to get my hands on one to review and present here on the channel. I don't know if I'm going to purchase one like you plan on doing, but I'm definitely interested in it. And I reached out to my Breitling AD, which is Saltzman's watches in Rhode Island, and Richard told me that he expects them later on in the year. He's not sure exactly when. The shipping and receiving is kind of all up in the air right now with, with the lockdown and whatnot. But I should be able to get my hands on one later on in the year to review and present, and I think it looks really good, right? The B01 movement that's in that new release, the kinks have been worked out, the bugs have been worked out over the past decade, and I think it's a good watch to buy at the right price. I like the retro vibe. In fact, I like the direction Breitling's moving in the past year. I think they're coming out with some compelling stuff, and I'm excited to see more. So guys, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch today, hearing the story from Jerry, the poor experience story. Hopefully you got a little bit of a laugh from it, and I would appreciate your input in the comments section. Again, thanks for watching, and see you next time.